Minutes with McNabb. Hey, this is Sean McNabb from Minutes with McNabb, and today I want to welcome Nicky Smigs, amazing comedian. What's up, Nicky? Thanks for joining us today, brother.
Going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Sure appreciate you. From Chicago, I love that town, man. Did you grow up there, Nicky? Are you born and raised in Chicago?
Yeah, I was born in Arlington Heights, raised in Arlington Heights, northwest suburb, and been living in Chicago for 2 years now. So love it, man. Great sports town, great food. Um,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the best. And I grew up listening to the Loop. I'm assuming that's still there, that rock station.
I think 97.9 is I want to say like a Christian station now.
Wow.
I think they changed it. Or there's two rock stations. I could be wrong, but I think it's different now. But yeah, the 97.9 and B96 are like the two go tos traditionally for sure. So pre Bluetooth
Cool.
era.
Well, Nick, I want to get right to it with you, man, just because I've watched your stuff. You're so funny and talented, man. Talk to me about. I know you're honing your craft at Chicago's Second City Theater. Can you talk to me about Second City and what you were doing there?
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't really a big like theater guy growing up. It was really just sports and trying to play sports. Wasn't the most athletic dude. And then I saw a show right after I graduated college. My sister took me to an improv show at Second City, and I loved it. I remember just seeing people perform on stage, playing instruments, doing voices and sketches and stuff. And I'm like, this would be awesome. So eventually, I started taking classes and fell in love with it right away. Doing the improv program, and after a year, my last show was March 8th, 2020, and then a week later, as you know, the world shut down. So I was looking. The dream was always to do something entertainment, acting, comedy, or whatever. So once you finish the program at Second City like that, like you start the auditions and you start the real experience, and you maybe go to other theaters, and that's when you can kind of start taking it more serious instead of just doing the improv classes and chalking it up after that. But um, Second City was really what triggered it for me. In terms of performing and that thrill of making people laugh on stage. There's nothing like it. And when the world shut down, TikTok was kind of the only platform to kind of at least the most trending platform to put out content, whether it was impressions or comedy or sketches and stuff. So that was kind of my segue into doing stand up now, which was TikTok. So cheers to Second City. It was a great place and absolutely loved it. So
Yeah, I think a lot of people have gotten some really invaluable training at Second City, and not only comedians but actors, and I'm sure you're headed into that realm as well. So, what I want to ask you, we'll talk about TikTok and everything, but while I got you, uh, what age were you when you kind of realized, you could do these impressions and were good at it, and you could make people laugh? When did that start?
it's a good question. I don't really know if there was like an age. Like you see some other super talented, impressionists online and stuff, and they got, oh, I did an impression of my uncle when I was 4. Like I don't really have that. I honestly just impersonated guys that I liked in movies, and in comedy, it was Sebastian Maniscalco, who's from Arlington Heights, my hometown. Tony Soprano, because I love the Sopranos, and Christopher Walken, because there's no voice in the world like Christopher Walken. So I really didn't do anybody else. The Joker, maybe Jack Nicholson, and I didn't really think it would kind of take off on TikTok. But I can't really pinpoint an age. It was just kind of in front of my family and friends, and yeah, TikTok eventually kind of responded in a positive way that motivated me to learn some more. But I don't know. To answer your question, high school maybe watching. Always loved movies growing up. So high school through college, I was just doing a couple guys, and then the TikTok
Yeah.
audience forced you to learn some more. So
And we're going to get into a bunch of those impressions and stuff. But was it like you know Al Pacino, or what were some of the go-to? Starting out when you were starting out, what were some of those go-tos?
yeah, I was definitely Sebastian Maniscalco with the comedy, Soprano and Christopher Walken. Um, Everyone loves the Italian guys, Pesci, De Niro, Pacino. I'm still working on Pesci. Um, but yeah, Pacino, I mean, the legendary actors, everyone wants to hear them. So I definitely had to learn those. But yeah, I think for me, it was just fun to do. I didn't really think about a career like coming out of it by any means. I just idolized these actors in comics, and I would do their impressions. And then that was pretty much it. But now, yeah, obviously I got to learn and Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. What are you gonna do? You just gotta learn these things. Whatever people want you to do or say, you gotta do them. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun.
Nice. So you were just kind of you were cracking your friends up and your family, and they're like, "Man, I think you got something
Yeah,
here. We
yeah.
can
It
make
was
a career."
super. I didn't expect it at all. Didn't expect it at all. It was super laid back, and I mean that. I didn't. I never thought. My dad's been in advertising for 30 years. I got a marketing degree. I thought I was going to be a marketing guy for 30 years until last year. I've had 3 jobs in marketing and advertising, and I just quit to do this entertainment stuff in March. So it's super super new, man. But it's been a ton of fun.
Yeah, I think you're going to be in this business for a long time by the craft that I've seen from you. So, okay, let's talk about TikTok. And I don't know that much about it. One of my producers is talking about it, but tell me about the whole TikTok thing and how you made that happen. And you've really carved out a niche there for yourself. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I was super. I had heard about it in the beginning of the pandemic, like March of 2020, and it being like the new trend, the new social media platform. Um, but for millennials, it was kind of a Gen Z thing. Like for millennials, anybody older, it was like that's for kids. It's kind of a thirst trap. The stereotypes of thirst trap. It's girls dancing, and people dancing to songs. That was the trend. And then over time, my family would start to see my sister and my brother were on it before I was, and they would see like comedians doing impressions and their own sketches and stuff. Excuse me. And they're like, Nick, like they're doing the stuff you did at Second City. They're doing impressions. Like, just get on the app. And I was against it. I was like, no, like my buddies are gonna rip me to shreds. Like, there's no way I'm doing this. And I miss Second City. I missed it a lot. I missed, just putting out content and performing. So once we kind of realized that the pandemic wasn't this 2, 3, 4 week thing, it was going to be 18 months or whatever they said, 12 months. I was like, all right. They eventually convinced me to get on it, so I just started posting. Walking in Soprano room at college together. That was kind of the shtick. And then Sebastian Maniscalco was like the third character I threw in there. And for a couple of months, like April and May, maybe June, it was just those 3 guys doing stupid shit together. And it took off. It totally took off. It was kind of a joke in the beginning, but once stuff just started taking off and the Instagram kind of took off, I was like, all right, there's something here. Let's just keep riding the TikTok wave. And I think if you people that have been on TikTok throughout the pandemic, they've realized that the diversity of content in all shapes and forms has just exploded in terms of what's been on TikTok. It's not just music and dancing. While that's the big trend, is the songs and stuff. There's if you have any skill, any talent, TikTok's the place to do it. It's organic growth. So it's been a blessing to kind of get started off that for sure. So
Yeah, that's a real blessing to have, during the pandemic and everything, just to have that captive audience. A lot of people were home with, looking for stuff to do and needed laughs and stuff, and it just seemed like, wow, that's a great timing. If there was anything good that came out of that, that might have been one of the things, that you were able to work to such a big audience, that was home looking for funny stuff, and it must have been fantastic for you.
Yeah, definitely. It was totally unexpected, but there's no doubt that one of the best parts about putting out content in the past year was just getting the ton of comments and messages and DMs on Instagram or TikTok saying like, "You've made this pandemic so much better for my family. You're making us laugh. My husband's got depression. My kid is so nervous
Yeah.
about XYZ, and your content's a distraction." I did not remotely expect any of that feedback. So that's definitely something that kind of settled in is, okay, this could be something long term. Like there could be something here. So the fact that I was able to do that in the past year for people is awesome. So we're going to keep it going.
Yeah, isn't that the best? I mean, I found, touring for years, sometimes, it was really, really hard and grueling and stuff. And then, somebody would like go, wow, dude, that song got me through a really tough time in my life, or I got married to that song, or, and it really is a reality check that, your craft can touch people and in a positive way. And that's really nice. When for the most part people are really nice with the comments and stuff, and I'm sure it's 90% that. But we all know this is the internet. Do you ever get any haters or any? Because you haven't made it till you get haters.
Yeah, no, it's definitely that was the hardest part. Like I think my excuse in the beginning to my family and friends of not posting anything was, oh, this app's for girls, it's for Gen Z, it's for teenagers. But that wasn't really true. The reality was I was just afraid to put myself out there, and I was afraid of backlash, which I think anybody is. The internet's a cruel place, but getting over
Yeah,
the judgment and what people think. I mean, I don't have to tell you is without a doubt the hardest part. Because especially when you start posting on your personal Instagram of a couple hundred followers of people you've known your whole life, your family, friends, classmates through high school and college and stuff. Like
yeah,
you just gotta turn it off. Like you just gotta trust your gut and say, I know this is going to be funny because of XYZ. It's worked the past week or two or whatever. And at the end of the day, we had nothing else to do. It was the middle of a pandemic. We couldn't leave our houses. And I'm like, I got nothing else to do. So people can say what they want. As long as my views and followers are still going up, I'm doing something right. But there's no doubt that the beginning couple months was a huge hurdle and just not giving a shit. You just gotta tune people out and hope that the good outweighs the bad. And so yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic.
I know exactly what you're saying, because as artists, it's like you unveil something new. It's kind of like walking into a room naked sometimes, and you might have just gotten out of a cold fucking pool. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so it's like it's not for everybody, and it really takes trust and belief to unveil that new material or that new song, or a scene that was really you know hard to shoot for you personally, or what as artists, it really takes a thick skin sometimes to. I love that you said that, because it takes a thick skin sometimes to reveal yourself like that, and wonder, are people going to love this, or are they going to hate it? So
Well, I got a question
who
for you around that, if you don't mind me
sure, man.
asking. So I love all types of music for the most part.
Uh-huh.
The only type of music that I haven't loved historically is like hair metal, like deep
Yeah.
metal. But a buddy of mine, one of my best friends, is a huge fan, Quiet Riot, and he told me that you
Oh, yeah.
guys basically teed off what hair metal became for Van Halen. And like in the beginning, I have to imagine, like, was that picked up right away by the rock community, like for what you guys were doing, or did you know you were going to be trendsetters in like the early '80s? Right, you joined in the was it '88? I want to say no, earlier than that.
Yeah. 88. Yeah. I joined a little bit after the start of the whole thing, but Quiet Riot was definitely one of the bands that
Okay,
got it going. Van Halen, Quiet Riot, Motley Crue, those bands got it going. And believe me, we had plenty of haters, and people love talk smack about the 80s, but I will defend us and say, yeah, there was some goofy shit for sure. But at the same time, there was some really good music. And with us and with a lot of those 80s bands, I got to say this, we played and we sang. You know, it wasn't, I think about 90, maybe 85, 90% of what you see today is people lipping it. You know, they're afraid to play live. And for our generation, we played and we sang. You know, for better or for worse, but we did it for real. You know, and I think there's a lot to be said for that. A lot of artists are afraid to put themselves out there like that, and so I will defend the '80s rock.
No,
And
it's
you know,
fucking awesome. Yeah.
it was a huge thing for a while. You know, and it had a really good run until kind of grunge took over. But
Yeah.
that music will live on long after we're gone. I feel there's always going to be an audience for it. And speaking of that, brother, we're starting to get back out and play gigs, and I think you're starting to tour again with the comedy, and I'm getting a couple acting gigs, and I booked something next week, and so are you excited about kind of getting back in the rooms and doing your craft and performing?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't even know kind of what to expect. I was reached out to by this club, Uncle Vinny's in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, in October about doing shows in March, which turned out to be April. But I was able to quit my job in March because of the other clubs that booked me after Uncle Vinny. So the first time I did stand up was April 8th. But the first show I did, I had done some clubs locally just to warm up, obviously. But yeah, it's super new to me, and the fact that I get to do it full time now and just work on it and just bomb and figure it out while getting paid to do it is because of the following I have. You know, I can sell tickets. These managers for these clubs will tell me like, "You'll sell tickets, we'll rebook you." Not that we don't care if you bomb, but like if you can sell tickets, we're going to book you. So it's kind of a different path than a traditional comedian of just hammering open micers for years. But it's absolutely, I'm going to take advantage of doing some live stuff and just getting out of my basement, my garden apartment basement. As much as I love putting out a video daily, the goal is to perform live. Like I said, I loved it at Second City, and I love the thrill of that live audience. So whether it's stand up or acting or more improv stuff, absolutely, man, I can't wait. I'm itching to get back out. So
Amen to that, bro. We all are. You know, I don't think people understand how hard it is to come up with what do they call it, a strong 10 or a hard 5 or whatever. But how do you do that? And what's your approach on material and how you do that?
yeah, no, it's a good question. I'm still learning. That's for sure. I'm definitely still learning how to do it. The beauty of TikTok and Instagram the past year is I've been able to kind of take videos that have gone viral or have gotten a ton of views and almost make bits out of them. Like a 30-second video I did, I don't know, in January, it was Christopher Walken doing the weather, and it killed. It just kind of blew up. And I now have a segment or a bit, I should say. It's like 3 to 5 minutes of just, you want to get millennials back into cable subscriptions and off of the streaming services. Why not pay celebrities to do the weather? Because meteorology, it seems like weathermen are always wrong. I don't know about you, but I think it changes every day. If you want me to watch the weather instead of checking my phone, like, why not get celebrities to do the weather? So that's kind of the shtick. And then I go into what would it be like if Nicholson did the weather or McConaughey or Walken. So it's kind of like the way I can think of the first thing I can think of is like the online videos on TikTok and Instagram is like my open mic as a pandemic content creator. And then because I can sell tickets with the following, I just do them live and people are already familiar with it. So so far, knock on wood, has worked. But yeah, to answer your question, it's pretty cool to use like the online video stuff as the open mic, and then the stuff that does well, I'll just turn into bits. That's the only way I've known how to do it, and it's worked for this handful of shows I've done the past 2 months. So that's kind of what's worked so far. And obviously, as you know, as a performer, it's subject to change any week. So it's been
Oh
fun
yeah.
though. But
Can you talk about some of the influences? Guys that I mean, what was it? Carlin? Was it Eddie Murphy? I mean, is that you tell me? What were the guys that were really making you laugh and kind of got you into it?
yeah, I think the biggest influence was Sebastian Maniscalco. He grew up 5 minutes from, or I grew up 5 minutes from him in Arlington Heights, and kind of a similar background in the sense of doesn't know anybody in show business, had no connections in show business. No one really helped him out. He had a corporate comm degree, I think, and then moved to LA when he was 24 to just chase stand up. And he kind of just had to figure it out, just and work hard. And after I read his book and I kind of learned about his story, I was like, all right, if I love this enough, I could figure it out, kind of thing. But he was definitely a huge influence. And then because the impressions are a big part of my act, watching Dana Carvey, watching Jim Brewer, Robin
Right
Williams,
on.
Jim Carrey, mix in like impressions with regular stand-up material and just voices is they're huge motivators. And there's not a ton of guys. If you look at, I don't know, 100 comedians, like I would probably guess like 90 of them don't do voices or impressions. You can think of like maybe 10 big guys that do impressions. So there's not really like, I'm writing some of my own jokes, but a lot of it's just how do I integrate voices and impressions. And Carvey and Jim Brewer and
Yeah.
Robin Williams are just big characters with goofy personalities. So I'm just in the middle of trying to figure out with them as my influence to answer your question, how to transition that on stage. And yeah, it's been super cool. So
Yeah, I remember Rich Little being kind of like the man. I don't know if
he's
that's
probably a bigger one. Yeah, it's Carson days for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, for sure. All right, dude. We're blessed to have you here today on Minutes with McNabb, and let's get to the craft, man, because I've watched you, and dude, you're hilarious. So, can you start me out with a little Christopher Walken?
Sean, it's an honor to be on your show. I had to do a little bit of research on you because the first thing I noticed was Sons of Anarchy, and then I found out that your band in the '80s invented hair metal, which I didn't know anything about. If I had to guess, hair metal people in the '80s kind of had my head of hair, just straight up in a receding hairline, but I could be totally wrong. Sean. So thank you for having me. It's an honor. Walken's hair. I have yet to find a wig that looks like Walken's hair, but it looks like a blow dry. He looks like he's been driving with his head out the window, and it's just
Yeah.
yeah, obviously not at all
Oh,
what hair metal was like in the '80s.
dude, that was perfect, man. How about Tony Soprano?
Absolutely. It's been a good year for The Sopranos. Apparently, people are coming back to watching the legendary HBO show. 89 Emmy nominations and 19 wins. Now this Game of Thrones bullshit's coming up my ass. Luckily for them, the ending fucking sucked, and ours was even better. Even though if the people thought the cable went out, they can go fuck themselves. Best show on HBO is The Sopranos, no questions asked.
Oh man, it's great. All right, let's have the mentor Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yeah, good to be on the show. Gotta tell you, if I was on the show right now, I'd probably want Arlington Heights instead of Chicago, but it looks good with the banner run. I feel like I'm watching CNN looking for a ticker with everything scrolling. So, nice graphics. You got a great crew. Angelo's dogs are barking. I can hear them even though they're muted, which bothers me. But it's good to be here. And thanks for having me, Sean.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's part of the gig is the dogs.
Yeah, no, I got two of them
Um,
myself. I totally.
Yeah, I got three, and for some reason they're not barking today. How about Ray Romano?
Yeah. Honestly, Sean, my impression of Ray is just reacting to stuff, positive and negative. If it's negative, it's just yeah. If it's positive, it's just yeah. So yeah, that's all I got for Ray. So yeah.
That's great. Uh, Dude, one of my favorite movies, and I love Adam Sandler. Break me off some of the Water Boy.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because of all them teeth and no toothbrush.
Medulla oblongata. Oh man, Henry Winkler. Love that movie too.
Oh man! All right, give me some Jack Nicholson, please.
Could you imagine if Nicholson was doing the weather in the dead of Chicago's winter? He would tell you to sack up and go out in the hail with the hard hat on because you got no fucking idea what it's like to be on the front lines.
My whole desk just shook.
That's priceless, man. How about the Grinch?
Absolutely. I had a busy day today. I had a coffee appointment at 10. I had, what else did I fucking have today? I had a physical. I had to get an alignment on my Cadillac, and here we are having a podcast with Sean McNabb. Maybe dinner with me later this evening. So, Max, get my cloak.
Perfect, man.
Appreciate it.
All right. How about? Oh, dude. And I've been mistaken. You know, when my hair was short, I used to get Johnny Drama. So give me some drama, man.
Oh, dude, you do look like drama. I can see the facial hair. I can see that.
Dude. Here it is.
Oh
Victory!
my god, dude, that's hysterical. You got to learn his impression. You spot on. All right, bro. Here's the deal. All right, the sun was out today. It was absolutely gorgeous, bro. There's no doubt in my mind that my calves are going to be out, and we're going to be looking for some serious ass to chase, bro. I don't care if I'm Vincent Chase's brother. Johnny Drama's getting some action tonight. Long hair or short.
That's awesome. Oh man, he's totally cool too. I played golf with him once.
No shit.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Good golfer too. How about a little Joe Pesci?
You motherfucker, you! Ask me to do your impression on your show? What are these magic shows where I just pop out an impression to make your fucking day good?
I got to work on pitch. It's very high pitched. I don't know if you ever saw his Oscar acceptance speech for Goodfellas, or was it the Golden Globes? I don't know which one it was. He literally walked up and he goes, "It's my privilege. Thank you," and he walked off. I didn't know he hates interviews. I guess he hates the media. So he's just like the opposite character than who he plays in his movies. But yeah, that's motherfucker you is probably everything he says in a nutshell.
Perfect, man. How about Thor?
I see you've copied my beard, Mr. Drama. I am Thor, god of thunder, Asgard's main servant. Thank you for having me on your show.
All right. Last one, and I see this dude all the time. He's actually pretty cool. His son's a drummer too. He knows who I am, so he's like, "Hey, my son's band." He's always Andrew Dice Clay.
No way. Yeah, his son is a drummer. Oh, hickory dickory dock. This chick was sucking my. I can't say the end of it. I might get canceled again, but the nursery rhymes used to be a legendary part of my act, turning into Christopher Walken. Now I got to bring that back. Good old Mother Goose, remember her? Yeah. I fucked her.
Oh, bro, dude, you are on your way to big things. You're hilarious, man. And I see that all that improv training that you have, and that's going to help you out a lot as an actor too. Um, you know,
Appreciate
we live in such PC times, man. Do you ever find yourself like going down a road that like, wow, man, I better back that up, or how do you deal with that with your comedy? Is it because it's got to be tough sometimes.
Yeah, I have yet to really find my voice. I know that's ironic because I do many voices, but in terms of like the brand of comic I want to be, I'm not really sure because part of me as a comedian, and I'm sure you can attest to this too, as a musician, is pushing the envelope. Going against the grain, like that's your responsibility. In my opinion, I just grew up watching comedians who the notion was their responsibility is to give people up the break that they're looking for by going against the grain or going against the rules. And so I'm kind of in the middle of like, what kind of comedian do I want to be? Do I want to push the envelope? Do I want to just entertain with impressions that I do online? But I haven't really ran into anything yet. I know it's bound to happen, especially with crowd work. When you're going off the cuff and you're not doing your usual act or usual bit, stuff's just going to come up, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to react. I can't really predict it because it's like you said, it's going to be a lot of it's improvised, but it's hard. There's no doubt it's hard. I mean, it's like the worst time I feel like for anything. But luckily, like the Joe Rogans and the Dave Chappelles and the Bill Burrs have zero problem doing that stuff and reminding us entertainers that it's okay. And one article, while it might end your career, it's part of the gig, I guess. I really don't know. So
Right.
keep learning as I go.
Yeah. Always, man. We always remain teachable, and I got to tell you this. I used to hang out with Kennison back in the day, and
Oh shit.
we were up late one night. Sorry to be such a name dropper, Jesus, but he was really into rock
Oh,
and roll, and we were up after the bars closed doing some kind of Peruvian marching powder or something like that. So I don't know, something like that. And we ran out of booze, and I'll never forget this. It was brilliant. Kennison, he goes, "Yeah, just order a limo. We'll clean out the booze. And I'll tip them. And we'll send them on their way." Sure enough, he orders a limo. They show up, with the decanters of booze in there. He goes down. We all go down. He goes, "We brought a couple of bottles, emptied them out, tipped the guy. Thanks a lot." I just thought it
oh
was
my
brilliant.
god. How was
Yeah.
that? I mean,
Huh?
asking when was that? Like, what point of his career? Where was he at? Like, or what timeline?
I suppose it would have been. He was the man. He was on top. So he could
That's
afford
awesome.
it. Yeah, probably early '90s or something like that.
It's
Probably.
funny you bring him up. That's
Yeah.
awesome. But I wondered if I did his impression of just screaming like he does, if people would get it. Like, because I feel like the demographic of my audience is like 25 to 35 for the most part. But
Right.
that might motivate me to do his impression and see how well it does. Just like screaming, because the guy would just go, "Yeah." I can't do it now, but uh, yeah, that's a good. I might start doing him.
Yeah.
People would.
Yeah. Check him out. That might be fun. And a nice little bit. Okay. All right, Nikki. We're gonna do this thing we call the full throttle rapid fire five, and it's five questions that we just kind of rifle. You can give short answers. If you're cool with that, but feel free to answer them in any way you want. But
Cool.
it's time for the full throttle rapid fire five. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So, who's been the most influential to you?
Oh, my family for sure. My mom, dad, brother, and sister were the ones that pushed me to get on TikTok and start posting and putting myself out there. If they didn't push me, I don't know if I would ever have posted anything, and I don't know if I would ever change careers. So definitely the family.
That's awesome, man. That's like the best answer you could give. All right, what is your favorite kind of music and your favorite bands?
Ooh, I could listen to classic rock, 70s rock the rest of my life, and I would be completely content. Zeppelin, The Who, Stones, probably a top three.
Nice.
Probably a top three. Springsteen.
Yeah.
I play. I'm a novice acoustic guitar player. I can't read music. I can just play chords and stuff. But I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna buy. An electric guitar pretty soon here. I think it's just a great way to get voices involved. And if I can start putting out content that is doing impressions of lead vocalists while playing some of my favorite songs, it'll take some time to learn. But I love it. I love that stuff. I love the classic rock stuff. So.
Dude, yeah, and those bands you named, it doesn't get any better than that. And I definitely think you should do that with the singers, and I think that'll be cool. Um, if you could have a billboard with your picture and one sentence on it, what would it say? Or one quote.
A billboard. Oh man.
And with
I
this
don't know who I am
caveat,
anymore.
perfect, perfect.
The characters
That's
and the
great.
impressions and shit. That would probably be it.
Dude, I could hang out with you, man. That's cool.
Well,
I'm putting this caveat out there. Not all these questions are mine. Some of them are the producers, so
yeah.
I apologize.
No, you're good.
But if there was one word you wanted people to associate Nicky Smigs with, what would it be?
Ooh. Damn. That's a one word. It's kind of boring, but entertain. Just entertain in all ways, shapes, and forms, whatever it can be. I think that's I just think of growing up with Disney movies and growing up, with music, and it's all entertainment. I think the best thing in life is entertainment. So if I could entertain the way that musicians and actors and comedians have done for me, let's go with entertain. That'd be a pretty sweet career to have.
Amen to that. And you are on your way, my friend.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, not my question.
No
Who's
worries.
the most famous person in your phone contacts right now?
Uh wow. Probably Jeff Garlin or Frank Caliendo. I'm not sure who's big. Jeff Garlin, Curb Your Enthusiasm, obviously
Yeah,
Chicago comic. Frank Caliendo's
cool.
the obviously impressionist. I think that, yeah, probably those two. Two of which I've met the past year. Not one virtually, one in person. But because of the TikTok stuff, I've been able to connect with them, which is awesome. So
And are they cool? And they got your back? And they've been
yeah,
cool
no,
with
yeah,
you?
they both follow me. They both follow me on Instagram or TikTok and Instagram. Caliendo asked me to come to his house in October. I met him in person. We just hung out on his patio, and huge inspiration. I left him out because I was just when I was talking about Carvey and Brewer and them. Caliendo is obviously a huge influence in the comedy with impressions and stuff. But yeah, Jeff Garland saw my Christopher Walken doing the weather impression, and he messaged me, said I was funny, and then he gave me his cell. And I texted him, "What's up, Jeff?" And I'm like, "How the hell is this happening? Like, is this a parody account? You know what I mean?" And he FaceTimed me right away. I was actually in an Atlantic City hotel room the night before a show, and he FaceTimed me and just said, "Dude, you're hilarious. Love that you're from Chicago." He said he saw this Bears hat right behind me. He grew up in
Cool.
the burbs too, and yeah, so like shit like that, just to kind of get that validation while it's just a follow like it can mean so much to someone who's just trying to find their, their voice and entertainment, and to have those two guys, cheer you on is fucking, and guys like you too, man. Like you've had an awesome career in acting and being a musician. This is the highlight of doing this stuff. Big perk of doing this stuff is meeting guys like you. So keeps the confidence up, that's for sure.
Yeah, brother, and I appreciate that. And man, I know talent. When I see talent, I know it, and there's going to be big things for you, man. And I love it that you're humble, and that's where it's at, Final question, my friend. What's your all-time favorite joke to tell, or what has been one of your most successful shticks in your live comedy?
Probably. So far, something I've done every time I performed is Sebastian Maniscalco reading the messages that I've gotten the past year. Because of Sebastian, he follows me on Instagram and stuff, but he put my impression on Jimmy Kimmel last summer when he guest hosted. So people kind of associate, me with him in that way because I can do his impression, and he gave me an A+ on Kimmel for that. So I think every show I do a Sebastian impression, and that's definitely it's a good laugh every time. So it's a ton of fun for
Cool.
The audience, for the followers.
Awesome. Well, I will have you know that the guitars on my intro and outro music are done by Jimmy Kimmel's guitar player, Mr. Toshi Yanagi. Yeah, amazing guitar player. And he says Kimmel is like the shit. He says he's as cool as they come. He's kept him working this whole pandemic, and just one of those quality guys in show business. He just
awesome.
Has nothing but good things to say about Kimmel.
Awesome.
And I want to just say thank you, Nicky Smigs, for coming on and doing us a solid and doing our show today. And, when all hell was breaking loose, you hung in there. And that's a showbiz thing, man, because we know if stuff can go wrong, it does sometimes, and with the technical things, and you just got to roll with it. And to your credit, you were seamless, baby.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on. It's been a good time.
Yeah, I sure appreciate it, brother. And will you let me know when you're playing LA? Because at the Comedy Store or wherever, I'll come out and support you and bring some people, and I'd love to see the show.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, we'll do. Absolutely.
All right. Do you want to let us just rifle off the social media stuff? And big things coming for Nicky Smigs. This is Minutes with McNabb. And if you could just tell us those social handles. It was a blessing having you here today, bro.
Yeah, no, thank you. Blessing for me as well. Yeah, it's Nicky Smigs on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and nickysmigs.com. nickysmigs.com is probably got all the links and stuff there, so it's probably the best place to go. So thank you again, man.
Awesome. Thank you. And another great edition of Minutes with McNabb. Look for this guy, Nicky Smigs, at a local comedy venue in your city, and also on TikTok, Instagram, and all his other platforms. You rock, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.